everybody, my name is Benjamin Bloom. Welcome to another championship preview show. Only seems like 2 seconds since we did the last one, but thus is the nature of the championship. It's a 3-game week, and it's one of those that really underlines what it takes to get through the championship, in that if you have momentum now, if your best players are available, you're in the groove and you play well this week, you end up with 9 points. If you don't have your best players around and you're not quite at it, 0 points and another 3 games gone by. You get these weeks where you can really swing your season either in or out of gear. Let's start at the top. Leeds United at home to Preston. Leeds got away with one at Millwall at the weekend. Late equaliser when they're back off up to Yorkshire. Everyone's loving Leeds at the moment, so I'm sure the stadium will be full. Preston are not having the best time. This is not a good matchup for them. They're down in 23rd, just can't quite get it together after that home defeat against Reading at the weekend. I would be crazy not to predict a home win here. We know the championship's a bit bonkers, but I'm going to go for Leeds in that opener. Second place, oh dear, second place is Brentford. So Brentford are coming to my team, Ipswich. Ipswich bottom of the league, Brentford second. Brentford playing well. It's going to be an emotional one at Portman Road, with the minute silence and whatnot for Kevin Beattie, who died at the weekend. That said, I've seen Brentford play once this season. They were excellent and they're doing really well. I've seen Ipswich play many times and it's not clicking together yet. Ipswich bottom, no wins. Brentford second. If I'm going for Leeds, then I have to go to Brentford. So I'm going to say, sadly, I don't want this to happen. I'm going to say an away win and Brentford to sneak this one. Next game would be West Brom at home to Bristol City. This one should be good fun. West Brom quite open under Darren Moore. Their games are very interesting. Lots of goals in them. Birmingham kind of stopped the supply to Rodriguez and Gale on Friday night. I don't think Bristol City will be quite so defensive, but I think their attacking aspirations will get them something. I'm going to go for a draw for this one. Moving on, Borough at home to Bolton. A defeat for Borough at Norwich on Saturday, a 1-0 defeat. So you would expect a reaction from Pulis and his men tonight. Bolton just avoiding administration, but still a difficult spot for them at the moment. I'm going to go for a reaction from Borough and a home win for that one. Moving on, also on Wednesday night, is Sheffield United versus Birmingham. Just mentioned Birmingham, saw them on Friday. Quite sort of solid, 2 good wide players as well. I don't know how many goals they've got in them, and Bramall Lane can be a very loud and tricky place to go. Sheffield United lost at Bristol City. So I am going to go home win on this one. I think the Blades will have too much for Birmingham, particularly in that stadium. Back to Tuesday night, and it's Stoke versus Swansea. Swansea in 6th, Stoke down in 20th. This matchup has draw written all over it. Swansea are low scoring and high drawing. Stoke kind of getting it together. Rowett can be cautious. Don't know too much about Potter, so I'm learning about him as we go. But I think this one will end in a draw, which is not much help to either team. But I think both managers will accept not losing. Next one, Derby at home to Blackburn. God, this one's a hard one to call. Derby lost at Rotherham at the weekend. They seem to have been fired through by good individuals from what I can see so far, not necessarily clicked. So with that being said, Blackburn is a long project that scored a lot of points last year. They have a good goalie, and Dack and Graham up front is a good attacking unit. So it won't be the easiest game for Derby, but I don't think Blackburn are going to travel that well, and I think Derby will probably nick it by 1. Maybe my boy Waghorn might get the winner there. So I'll just edge Derby, but I'm finding that one quite a hard one to call. So apologies, Blackburn fans. Back to Wednesday, and it's Forest versus Sheffield Wednesday. Wednesday in 9th, Forest in 15th. another tricky one to call. Wednesday are picking up points without necessarily, other than Bannon, playing particularly well for them. So they're obviously no pushover, being they're not losing games without really playing amazingly. Forest are not winning games without really playing amazingly. I'm going to sit on the fence and go for a draw here, but if Forest show the form that they promised with the new signings and Wednesday revert to more of the performance they put in when I saw them at Brentford, Forest will win this. But Forest don't really have their act together yet. So let's go for a frustrating draw for both teams there. Moving on, Wigan versus Hull. I saw Hull on Saturday. They beat my team, Ipswich, 2-0. And it pains me to say they didn't have to be very good to do that. Now, I know Wigan are good at home, and they're quite high scoring, actually, if I recall, Wigan. So I think Wigan will be able to score past Hull. Whether Adkins will be able to put Jackson Irvine and or Chris Martin in tonight and strengthen up that team, I don't know. I'm going to go for a Wigan home win, I think, on this one. Couple more to go here. Tonight is Villa in 12th at home to Rotherham. I really like what Rotherham are doing. They've picked up 9 points and have a real identity, but all of those points have been picked up at home. And I don't want to go big club, little club, but this is Rotherham going to mighty Aston Villa, and I can only really see a home win. Villa are going to want to get Tammy Abraham and Yannick Bolasie going. So I can see Villa maybe comfortably winning this one, and Steve Bruce needs to, as I said, take the handbrake off, and maybe we'll see Villa soar up from that 12th position. Certainly Villa fans will not accept 12th position for too much longer, I would not have thought. We're going down to the two lowest ranked games now, so on Wednesday night I may well get to this one. Reading versus Norwich. Another hard one to call, because I would say two surprise wins. Reading winning away at Preston was a surprise given Reading's poor start. And I think that would have been, that would have been their first win as well, Reading. And Norwich beating high-flying and favourites Middlesbrough. So God knows what's going to happen here. I think Norwich might have too much for Reading, and don't shoot me down with my Ipswich Alliance predicting a Norwich win here, but I can just see them buoyant after Saturday and Pukki playing well for them. I think their tails might be up and they might snick this one. Snick, is that a word? Finally, the lowest ranked game of the week, number 12, is QPR versus Millwall. This one should be tasty, shouldn't it? QPR and Millwall. Rangers have got it together after losing those first few games, and Millwall haven't quite. Although Millwall is never a pushover under Neil Harris. You'd make Rangers at home, given the form, slight favourites, but I'm going to go for a draw, because Millwall in a London derby is, you know, their fans will travel, and under the lights there at Loftus Road, I think the occasion will fire Millwall up there and they'll get the draw. That's my predictions for this midweek round of Championship games. Let me know what you think in the comments. A lot of other great stuff happening on the channel. I will be at Ipswich v Brentford, so look out for that match review, and hopefully be at Reading and Norwich tomorrow night. So loads of great stuff happening. Obviously up today as well, we had our Blue Monday podcast, special tribute to Kevin Beattie. So if you're a football fan of any type, listen to that, because he really was a great player, and not necessarily as well known as a lot of those 70s and early 80s England players, but really worth knowing about. He was a real sort of phenomenon, and he's getting a lot of love in the press at the moment. As I always say in these videos, I support Ipswich. I probably do not know as much about you as you do about your team, if I worded that right. So please comment, let me know what you think. Please subscribe, thumbs up, follow me on Twitter at Benjamin Bloom, and I will see you later on, hopefully with a smile on my face, after Ipswich v Brentford. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.